Hello, sim racers. Welcome to another live stream. Finally, after almost 1 week that we did no live streams. Sorry about that, guys, but way too much work. I had to work during nights also, and really, really tired. So, but in any case, I didn't even have the time to do it. Um, but all is good. Here we are again, back to the drawing board, and as you can see, my hair has finally exploded. But good news because tomorrow finally I found some place to to my barber shop to go and cut my hair. Finally, I will probably have to pay double for that. So, how are we? How are you doing, guys? All good? Did you forget about me after 1 week of no live streams? I hope not. So let's start from where we stopped. Last time. So what we're gonna do today? We're gonna do some. We're gonna do the aftermath. This new series. If you remember, 2 weeks ago we had a very, an actually great race at Kyalami with the Aston Martin. This was the car that I used for the race. And hello everybody on the chat. So many people, nice. So this was the car, and we are going to go back to Kyalami again, same conditions. So it's early in the morning, 10 to 11 degrees, really cold, as it was on the race. And the first well, Miko, yes, it's Oasis, but it's not exactly the band which I love, but it is the Oasis of opponent drift. If you can see, this is a roundabout. So, roundabouts, opposite drift, opposite lock. So this is it. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to Kyalami, get the Aston Martin again, do a couple of laps, see if I can get more or less at the level of performance that I was during the race. And good morning, Kwanda, mate. Thank you so much for being here. Um, and then after that, we are going to choose the McLaren, which we didn't manage to bring up to pace last on the last stream, and see if we can do something and pretty much do the same lap times. So let's go in. Practice session. Thanks, Zixietere. I don't even know how to pronounce this. So setup we had on the race. This is it. So again, this is a race setup. It has 105 liters. Yeah, I look a little bit tired. Yeah, that's true. But it's okay, mate. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. Ah, nice to hear that, CC Driver. You're getting faster and better. That's very good news. Very good news. Plan to drive Corsa. Well, let's see what we can do tonight with the McLaren, and if we have time and we're still, up with the energy, maybe we can try a couple of laps at Porsche and see what we can do. Porsche. Honda, probably not tonight. All right, so let's start. Let's do a couple of laps and see if I can go back to my lap times. I remember I was doing something like 141.5, something around there with full fuel load. So let's see.
Green light, give it all you can.
And out we go. In the meantime, let me know if Leo75 Andrea, sicuramente faremo una live in italiano, forse anche prima dell'uscita. Bisogna solo prepararsi e trovare il giusto momento. I hope I won't have frame rate problems today, because something is, I mean, it's been a couple of days that I haven't rebooted my PC, and I was about to reboot the PC right now before the live stream, but I've seen that there was many of updates to do, and I'm pretty sure that when you do that, something breaks, or best case scenario, I would have to wait like half an hour and the live stream would be, long time gone. So I didn't reboot the PC, and I can see some stuttering here and there. Things are, in the background working, not so good. But we'll see. I've tried the Audi, yeah. CC driver, sorry, I thought you were talking about me. Cosa ne penso che i cordoli sia percorso a lungo? Beh, sì, Simone Ferri. So if you have curbs that they are, they have steps, right? And you keep on, going over the curb with the steps, this takes down your speed, your acceleration, because first of all, you hit the curb, you hit the step of the curb, and that means that you get some extra rolling resistance from hitting the curb like that. Pump, 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 pump. The tire gets continuous hits, and the rolling resistance from the load rises up. And then you probably also have the traction control, just enable just a tiny bit, because it thinks that you're having some extra slip on the tires. So yeah, you shouldn't, in theory. I mean, you should, up and off the curb. Okay, so let's try to remember a little bit the circuit and how to drive, mainly because oh my, the GT3s are so fast right now. I've completely forgotten how to drive them. Ooh, almost. So we are at 43.6. We have to go down 1 second and then another one. So let's try this. Yeah, I can see already I have half a second in braking zone here, so we can do that. Yeah. Boom. Second gear. Nice braking zone. The car is so neutral. This setup we did is so neutral. I don't know if you guys had the chance to try this setup, but I really like it. I'm sure that there are faster setups out there, but for race stream this is so good for me. A bit of traction control here. Okay, we're getting into some speed now. Okay, 42.1. We are... Come on. I'm still relatively fast. Let's do it. Way too late. Very late braking, so that was my mistake. Yes, James, it is 7:20. I'm doing just 4 or 5 laps, I hope. to come up to speed with the Aston. And then right away we jump on the 720, the McLaren, and we start, working on the McLaren. So it's just to see at what performance level I am, and then we go on the McLaren. Because obviously, it doesn't matter, if I go on the McLaren, but I don't know at what performance level I am right now. Because if I'm slower, then we just don't know. But it seems that I'm already managing to do 41, so that's good news. Nice. And that here was a messy lap, so nice. Very good, very good. 41.7.
The fastest lap so far.
No worries, James. That's why we're here. I don't try Ferrari because I don't know. There's no reason really. It just didn't happen until now. I mean, I like the car, but that wasn't good. In fact, I'm losing some time. Good, good, good. We are already at 41.5. That's good. So we have the speed. We have the capability. To do good lap times. Ooh. A bit of Dorito there. Good. Good. 41.5. So, and it's not even a perfect lap. So we are fast. We are fast. So that, let me stop here. And let's go out. So quit. And now it's McLaren time. Hello, freaky bot. Right, so let's get the McLaren. Here it is. Nice. It's such a, I mean, it's a spaceship, to be honest. It really is a spaceship. Okay. Oskan, I have some. I have already done a walkthrough, a circuit walk of Kyalami. So if you search my older videos, I have also a playlist named Circuit Walks, where I am describing every turn of Kyalami, how to approach the whole circuit, and so on. So go there, find that. No, Ian, I by no means I consider anymore myself an alien. There was a time, almost 20 years, guys. I've been sim racing online for 20 years and actively doing mods and stuff for 17 years at least. And I've been sim racing offline for more than 20 years, 25 years, something like that. There was a period almost 19, 18 years ago that was almost at alien level. I was pretty good. I had some world records with the NASCAR 2003 on road circuits. Generally, I'm better with heavier and slower cars than what I am with faster cars, probably because of lack of reflexes. I don't know. I'm more of a logic guy. I want to think what I'm doing instead of just act, you know? So slower cars permit me to go faster. So yeah. All right, so let's go in because guys, we said McLaren 720 tonight. I mean, we said so. It's the title of the video. I cannot, start trying another a different car. So, γεια σου Κώστα. Ας ελπίσουμε να σας αρέσει. Bravo Antonio, sì sì. Cin, c'era anche il City Star, che facevamo solo road circuits. Okay, so McLaren. So let's go in. Nope,
Green light.
actually no. Let's go to the garage setup. We are going to use the aggressive setup. We want to put 105 liters because we want to be at the same conditions with the race setup from the other cars. The prototype seal nerf factor was an amazing mode. Yes, pretty much everything else. I only speak Greek, Italian, and English practically, so it's not like I speak many. I understand some very, very, very small amount of Spanish and French. I would like to understand German, but practically I don't understand anything. So, yeah, McLaren seemed tricky the first time we tried it here, 2 weeks ago. But I thought that I was very tired and I couldn't deal with the car. So for now, let's just go in, do a couple of laps, fix the tire pressures for the temperature that we have, and then we'll see. No race tonight. We're not racing tonight. We're just doing the aftermath of the race. So this is a new series. Every time we have a race, and then next week we're gonna do a couple of different cars from what we used. All right. Yeah. Okay, let's do a couple of laps. Don't let me go into the the old times. I will never stop talking about the old times. All right. Ooh, listen to that angry sound. Angry. Ah. Use brake pad 1. Ooh, understeer. That's cool here. I like it. Ooh. Up, a little bit of oversteer at the exit. Understeer again. Every time I brake, doesn't rotate as nicely as the Aston that we had. But maybe we can do something on the setup about it. But it's still, it's just the first lap. Everything is cold, so let's wait. No, absolutely not, Gregors. Yeah, the chat will reply to you. They know everything about the pads. We have discussed about this many times, so listen to the guys at the chat. They know what they're talking about now. This car is so low, and you're seated so much in front of the car that it feels like you are going, 300 kilometers per hour instead of 200. Ooh, understeer again. Ooh, oversteer. Ooh. Well, temperatures are a bit low. Pressures, sorry. Straights don't have any understeer there of the fast turn. Oof. So I have... Okay, let's analyze what I feel right now, because it's the most important thing you can do is understand your car and understand and analyze how you drive and what you do. So every time I try to turn in, almost on all turns, I'm trying to brake hard and start the turn in. So the first phase is with a lot of braking under turn in, and I have, you see, understeer. So I'm braking and I have lots of understeer, and then I release the brakes, and I'm getting some oversteer like here, and it throws me in. Yeah. And again, you see, I'm braking, I'm not slowing down, and I'm having understeer. And then I release it, and I'm going on the accelerator, and I'm having oversteer. So something is not perfectly balanced here. Again, understeer, under braking. Ooh, and oversteer in acceleration. The pressures are low, so we have to fix that first. Again, oversteer in acceleration. And turn in without brakes again. Have some oversteer. Tricky car. Tricky car. 43. Not very good laps, but oh, so much understeer here. Listen to CC Driver for the pads. To oversteer. Oof. I'm trying to drive over the problem now. Being very careful how to modulate my brake pressure, and it works a little bit, but I still have problems. 42.3, not bad. And we don't have yet the pressures correct, so now we will go in and check our pressures. oversteer. Καλησπέρα. Oh, there it is. There it is. All right, all right. Let's go in, fix the pressures, and have the first idea of what we could do. But first thing first, fix the pressures. Now, keep in mind something for the pads. A lot depends. Now, a lot depends. Well, Freaky Bot, for example. A lot depends on how you have your brake ducts and how you drive, your driving style, the ambient temperatures, and also the driving style, as I said. So, so for the pads, this until we go in. So for the pads, the pad 1 could work even for 3 hours. But if you go, for example, at Misano, all right, or at Nürburgring, and it's hot, and you have brake ducts, low number that usually people use, and you are, pushing too much on the brakes and so on and so on, then they're going to last much less, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, maybe something like that. It happens. It is like this. The same for pads 2. Pads 2 should easily go over 12 hours. But if you use very low brake ducts because you want the gain 1/10 of a second, you're gonna pay it after 12 hours. Because you have to understand, in all cars, street cars especially, race cars too, heat is your enemy. Everything that overheats, even for a small amount of moments, wears down and consumes itself much faster. So if you are using like pad like 3 or 2 or 1 sometimes at the rear, what is going to happen is that you start with the brake pad at a correct temperature at around 200 Celsius, right? And then at the end of the braking zone, you have something like 700, 750. Now the correct temperature is around 650, the maximum. Then you don't lose too much brake force until 700, 750, but you do overheat, and by overheating, you start, to consume the brake pad down. So the more you do this, and the more you limit the life of the pad and of the disc. So you end up having big issues after 8 or 9 hours, so to say. Thank you, Francesco, for the follow. Diesel, you need to go and have a look at the Understand Your Car video, where we talk about soft and stiff suspensions. To go fast with modern aerodynamic, high downforce cars, you need your downforce platform, okay, so the pitch of the car, to be as stable as possible. If you use a very soft suspension, then it's true that you go lower to the ground and you will gain some downforce, but you will gain some downforce during the straight, which you don't need. During the turn and in all the transient phases, when you go from braking to coasting to acceleration, your car is going to pitch more because it's going to be softer. And this is going to be bad for your performance, because the aero platform will not be stable anymore, but your car will continue doing that, and you don't want that. So this is the old way of thinking that we had from the days of R Factor 1, back into GTR 1, even some Grand Prix micropros where we were thinking, softer goes lower to the ground and make it works better. No, there is a reason why Formula One cars are so rigid, especially the old ones, and also GT3 cars are so stiff. They need to remain as stable as possible. All right, so let's go back. So let's fix our tire pressures. We are at 26.3, so let's go up to 27.5, something like this, because it's so cold, so it's practically more or less the same here, and 27.3 here, and 27.5, something like that, and 27.2. All right, so this should have our tire pressures correct, which is the first thing that we need to do. Let me check a little bit on the chat. Relationship between tire pressures and tire temperature. What do you mean? Obviously, the more you are into the optimum, the better it is. But pressure is number one important thing. Temperature of the tires is number two important thing. Obviously, the problem with temperature of the tires is it is what it is. I mean, if it's rain and it's damp or it's very cold and your tires are cold, it's not much you can do. You can make the dampers much stiffer and you might gain 2, 3, 4 Celsius in temperature. You could lower your brake ducts and gain another 5 to 6, 8 degrees Celsius, and that's it. So temperature is what it is. Most important thing is pressure. Pressure is what keeps the footprint correctly touching the ground. Well, Raul, because we usually, as you know, we use lots of bump stop at the front and almost nothing at the rear. Usually at high speed, the rear goes lower than the front. But there is something to keep in mind. Now, while you're going to high speeds, okay, the tires expand because of the centrifugal force, which is not a force, but anyway. So the tires expand because they rotate way too fast. And most modern slick tires, like the Pirelli ones here, they tend to expand more or less at the same amount that the race car will lower on its suspension. Because they know that for those cars to work, the suspension usually is more or less stiff like that. All right, and they know that with the downforce that those cars produce, the suspension will lower by 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters, something like this. Okay, so the tire is made in a way, among all the compromises that they do, to expand 3-4 millimeters to keep the ride height into the ballpark. So those cars are going really, and the modern tires are really overthinking all the details. All the details. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. And of course, Assetto Corsa Competizione simulates that. All right. So, thank you, Ahmad. Guys, console release. I have nothing to tell you about it. It's not my job to tell you. Sorry about that. Everything comes out from the official, channels. So I'm sorry about that. I have nothing to tell about it. The only thing I can tell you is the physics are the same. The only thing that might, and I think it does change, is the refresh rate of the force feedback. But the physics are the same, and the amount of opponents is, of course, much lower. That's all. All right. Let's go in and try our luck with better tire pressures. Yeah, Dazzle, maybe we should do a did you know with some replay showing? Well, I think the fact of, you know, the expanding tires, it's not an Assetto Corsa Competizione first. We did something similar in Assetto Corsa 1. I think even Air Factor 1 was already doing that. So it is one of the known things in sim racing, in simulation software. A little bit of oversteer again. No, there's not a plan for different tire compounds, simply because in the SRO GT3 series, there is only one compound, which is practically even more difficult to make the real tire and to simulate, because you need just one compound to be able to work in pretty much all conditions. And it is hard, it is hard. And we really tried hard to simulate this. It's not easy to have just one compound that, you know, works, obviously without cheating, you know, but properly simulating, that works in very, very different conditions. I still have some of that full brake understeer. Thanks, Carl. Appreciate it too. Yes, the tires are. I mean, we're not. I don't believe we are simulating the British GT series. We are doing the tracks of the British GT series, the circuits. But to be honest, I don't know yet what are the plans on that. I know that the content people, you know, the 3D artists already work on the circuits. That's for sure. But I don't know what other plans there are for so far in the future. Yes, the GT4s have the so-called DHA tires. Thanks, Carl, for the follow. While the GT3 have the DHD tires, which is a slightly different compound. Alright, so car seems to have proper temperatures. Let's attack. Understeer. Okay, so I have an idea here. I mean, it's pretty evident that I have tons of understeer while I'm braking hard. Yeah, it's a track pack, Leo. The ideal tire core temp is from around 75 degrees, 75 degrees to 95, something like that. The good news is that it's still good enough down to 65 and good enough up to 105. After those, after that range, you start to have pretty serious issues, let's say. Ooh. Yes, they have ABS. All GT4 cars have ABS. The problem with GT4 cars now is that they have usually less sophisticated traction control and ABS. Especially some cars have, you know, just, that goes better here. They have just one or two, just a couple of ABS levels, you know, and usually they have the street ABS. Ooh, so much oversteer, which is a problem, as you might expect. So with the GT4 cars, everything of course is slower, but you also need to take your time to let the car take a set. You know, you need to you need to follow the car and be gentle with the car. You know, it takes some time to brake, to turn in, to accelerate, and I mean, it's not so easy. Actually, it is easier because it's not complex, and even if the car, you know, goes away from you, you can get it back. But going fast needs more delicacy probably, and less reflexes, let's say. GT3s need the reflexes and precision. GT4s need... oh, come on. Oh. Yeah. GT4 cars being practically, they have more mechanical grip than downforce. You don't have such issues with downforce, so it pays to have a tiny bit less pressure in the tires. Not much, you know, half a psi less pressure. They seem to feel better like that. Let me do one lap. Pressures are still a little bit on the low side, but manageable. So many people on the chat, I cannot follow you guys, and I'm long again. Okay, so let's try this now. As you saw, my main problem is that I cannot brake as late and hard as with the Aston, and when I try to do so, I have tons of understeer. So instead of, you know, going and touching the right here, this is pretty evident. It's under heavy braking. I'm having understeer under very heavy braking. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down some clicks on the brake bias and try. And already I see that 4 clicks down on the brake bias, I had a much better turn in. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at how down I went with the lap time. All I needed to do was a tiny bit less brake bias. Yeah, oh yeah, rotation. I like this kind of smooth rotation under braking. Oh, lap time is coming down. Nice. I was going late and long into that braking zone, but I've managed to rotate the car. Maybe I could use just a couple of clicks more. Let's see. Oh, that was so nice here. Look at that. Look at the rotation I had. Nice. Oh, that was so cool. Oh, now we're talking. 41.7.
Russell West.
So lap times are coming down. Oh, way too much. I have some I have some oversteer in apex or in acceleration from slow turns. I wonder if I can do something about it. You see, oh, when I'm trying to push more, I get too much oversteer in acceleration. Yeah, Shanti, okay, we can talk about that in a minute. Remind me after we are under 41.5. Okay, let's go back in. All right. No, I don't think the positive toe will really solve everything because there is already some. Yeah, we're 0.15. I tend to not overdo it. So, um, so what can I do? I could lower a little bit the wheel rate at the rear or the anti-roll bar, but I'm not sure. Or maybe I could make. Now, since this is a very sensitive car, it's very stiff. The chassis is very stiff, and we know that high downforce car prefer a stiffer setup. Instead of lowering the rear, I could raise the front up here. Yeah, 41.5 race pace. We are with full fuel 105 liters right now. So yeah, I could do this, and we have some slow rebound here. And some high bump and rebound over here. So maybe we can lower this down to just 18, like that. Maybe 16, yeah. And 16 here. Now, here's some things about the dampers. Uh, at some point, we'll have to do a full live stream of the dampers. But here's some rule. In the modern damping situation, uh, if you do small clicks from where you are changing the balance of the car in the transient situations, as you know from all the theory that you know. So, softer damper means it will give you some extra grip. Stiffer damper, it will take off some grip but give you some precision. And depending on what you do with bump and rebound, it depends. So, for example, if I put here a bit of a higher rebound, slow, it means that when I'm going into acceleration, I will get some understeer or some stability, maybe. Okay, but this happens only if you do small clicks. 3 clicks, 4 clicks, 2 clicks, something like that. If you completely change it, you go something like 35. Okay, so high clicks. With modern damping, the damper doesn't work just as a frequency damping system, but it also starts to behave as a rigidity part of the suspension. So if you change by a lot the damping, it stops I mean, it will still have transient changes, but it will also have big differences in the aero platform because it becomes much stiffer or softer than what you have before. That's why usually on the very high downforce cars, you often see the front bump being so stiff, so high numbers, because it makes the front of the car very stiff under compression. Okay, so dampers in the modern era also act, slow dampers especially, also act like springs somehow. They stiffen the suspension. But if you are at a point that you like them and you just want a small difference, then if you do some clicks, up and down, this will change the transient, as you know from the theory. So it will give some, or give some grip, lose some grip. But if you do more than 5 or 10 clicks, then you have big differences in stiffness of the suspension. Okay, but that's hard stuff. We need to do a live stream just for that. All right, so we did this. We changed the brake bias from the steering wheel, so let me change this here also like that. Okay. Uh, yeah, usually yes, Lena. Usually, yeah, but it depends. We're talking about the front, yes. So bump is for entry and rebound is for exit. But it doesn't stop just there, because think about it. Think what your car does. So you are braking and your whole car is pitched, right? It's pitched to the front. So the front end is lower, the rear end is higher. And you are going into the brakes and you start rotating. Now, while you are turning in, you release your brake pressure. What is going to happen? It's going to happen that the front of the car will start raising a little bit. So it goes into rebound. So as you see, it's not just for entry. Rebound at the front and bump at the rear. That's why I'm saying bumpers are very complicated. We have to do another just specific live stream just for the dampers. And dampers are more important in GT4 cars than I mean, it's not more important. They are very important also in GT3 cars. But you feel them more and they follow more the theory, the classic theory that we know in GT4 cars, because in GT4 cars you don't have as much aerodynamics. All right. Yeah, 12 hours live stream on dampers. Right, John. Well, the more we go into simulation and the harder it gets. That's why we were really, really, we really tried hard to give you decent preset setups. Decent preset setups. Because otherwise, I know, guys, you'd be lost, and rightfully so. Okay, let's try some more and see if we fix something. I don't know about that, Vision Slayer. Sorry, I have no idea how they have organized the CP servers. You need to ask in the forums, and hopefully somebody will answer you. Yeah, there are a little bit softer. It depends. I mean, the numbers you will see are often higher, but they are higher because they also have much higher weight. They are much heavier, and they also have higher center of gravities. So they need to control, the body movements. GT4 cars, we're talking. Oh, when to brake where? Not here. So, Rafael Texera says, how to know where to brake when you are under slipstream. I brake too late. Yeah, practice. You need to brake much sooner, and you need also to have a look at that video I made about what happens when you are braking behind someone and how the distance is relative, but the time is absolute, and that changes everything. Guys, maybe you can give him the link on that video where I have also, you know, the visual representation of the cars. Yeah, rally Stu, you can use a symmetrical suspension. Not, do not exaggerate it. You know, just small things, but yeah, it helps sometimes. No, my brake. Whoa. Oh, come on. I cannot, you know, read the chat and try. No, my brake bias is 57.4. It was 58 before, so it's already farther back. No, don't, Tom Roberts, don't do that. Don't do that. Hit the brakes even sooner. Don't wait for the guy in front of you to hit the brakes. You're gonna hit him. You're gonna hit him. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't know if I'm not even sure if I did this lesson in. Okay, guys, let's do this. Let's try to make this car behave, and then we can talk about that, because otherwise we keep, you know, going from one point to another and it doesn't make sense. All right, so let's drive this car. Whoops. Cold tires. Let's heat up the tires. Let's see how the car behaves. Ooh. I don't feel any understeer, so it means that at least the change that we did is not bad for balance. Hopefully we're gonna have some extra traction, maybe. The rotation is much better now. Yeah, much better rotation. I have some hint of understeer there at the apex of the turn. Let's see if that now is the situation in all turns. Ooh, way too late. That was my fault. Still some oversteer. So no, I don't think that worked. It's on high second gear, third gear turns. See, here it is. Yeah, again here. And I am afraid to attack the corner. So we have that situation that we had with the Audi, that I was afraid to attack the corner to bring the nose in. So I think I'm gonna go with what we know best and lower the rear end 1 or 2 clicks. Yeah. The rotation now on the brakes is good here. Still not so good at the T1. But I think it's also... Ooh. It's also a problem of driving instead of... You know, see here again, it rotates. No. Doesn't work. Okay, so let's go back and we do what we know best. So, easy fix, aerial, 2 clicks down to 72, and we try again instantly. Yeah, Vision Slayer. I'm sick of Kyalami. I love it. It's a great. It's one of my favorite new tracks. But now it's the 4th or 5th time I'm at Kyalami, and I'm sick of it. I'm starting to hate it. But hopefully this is our last time at Kyalami. Next we go somewhere else. I cannot make it anymore. Yeah, it's just because of the high call comparison. But last time. No, the McLaren doesn't have terrible brakes. It just, you know, it has much less drag than other cars, so you have to stop only by the brakes and not also by the drag. Porsche at Bathurst. Oh my god. That would be a challenge. Okay, so let's see now. Let's see now what we can do. Here we have some understeer, which is obviously expected. You see instantly. But also much more stability here and also very good traction. We know that. We know that altering the right height just by 2 millimeters completely changes the car and give us exactly what we want. So the rotation was very good, and oh, look how I can go on the accelerator without fearing of some, you know, oversteer. Obviously, I have to make sure that I'm not going way too far. Oh, Zandvoort is also another very nice track. I like it. Nice, I can attack the turn, finally. Ooh, way too... Oh! I've made it. My braking was way too late, but I've made it. A bit of understeer here. Nice. Oof. Way too much curb. And again some understeer here. Nice. We can work with that. Now you see, now I have understeer, but for my driving style, and exclusively for my driving style, it helps me to attack better the turns. And some which is not really understeer, it is stability. You have to, you know, choose the correct words to explain to your engineer or to yourself what is going on. And what we have now, it's not really understeer, maybe a hint of understeer, but it is stability. We have stability, so stability means I can attack the corner better. And now that's too much. Well, since I have stability, maybe I can try to, you know, go back some more to the brake bias and see what will happen. Maybe it works. So let's go to 26.6. A little bit of extra rotation here, but and deal with it. Nice. I'm a little bit too slow though. Let's see if being slower is a problem of driving or a problem of the setup. Way too much. My fault. All right. Let's concentrate a little bit and see if we can improve. Again. Come on, Aris. Brake properly for this turn. Melon Pits, you understand it wrong. You are going more back or rearwards in the brake bias depending on what you had before. You are always going to have more brake bias at the front, always, because otherwise, you know, it's gonna be like, pulling the handbrake, and you don't want that, obviously. And your front tires have more load, so they can, you know, they have more longitudinal grip to stop the car better. So you're always gonna have more brake bias to the front. What we are talking about is, okay, we were before at 28% at the front. So we want some extra, we want more brake bias at the rear. We're not going to have, you know, 45% at the front. We're going to have from 58 that we had before, we're going to go down to 57 or 56 point something. So this is how we talk about it, all right? Be careful because terminology is very important in understanding what we're talking about. Even over 50 here, it doesn't mean that you have, you know, even under 50, it doesn't mean that you have more brake bias to the rear. Because still, the rear brakes are smaller than the fronts. Okay, you have more pressure at the rear maybe, but the whole torque that slows the car from the brakes is always more at the front. And I'm driving terribly right now. Yeah, now we are having Aston Martin braking point, so almost. So we just have to concentrate a little bit and, you know, do a proper lap. Ha! Below 140? No, mate. Cannot do this. Alright, a little bit better. Ah. Wait, thank you, Mickey Pepsi. Thank you so much. Thank you, mate. Appreciate. Oh. Black M6. I don't know about the skins. This is Gergo's. Max! Ciao, Max! Right, so let me reset the car and everything. We want to do a 41.5. This is the lap time we're doing with those cars. So, but we need to, you know, concentrate a bit because it's terrible right now. So 56.8, something like that. And we could try to raise this, make it more stiff. This is now very stiff car actually. I would like some extra rotation, just a tiny little bit. All right, let's go. Specific weight for the fuel is 0.749, something like that. So 1 liter is 0.75 kilograms. So 100 liters is 75 kilograms, something like this. It depends on the fuel because, you know, there are different kinds of fuels, and different fuels have a tiny bit different weight, like 0.76, 0.78, 0.70. It depends. Oh, thanks, Max. Grazie, Max. Mitico. Yeah, we're talking about, you know, 20 degrees Celsius temperature for the fuel and stuff like that. Okay, we have some extra rotation here, I can see now. Which is should be faster. Oh, come on. Slow that car down. I need to brake just a tiny bit sooner. I mean, I keep doing the same error. I mean, what am I, stupid? A little bit of extra rotation here. But it seems that, yeah, we're going quite fast now. Ooh, lost so much time here. Ah, come on. Nice. A vote on what? Yeah, absolutely 1K. We have, I have, guys, link the Google folder with the shared setups. Ah. Come on. Ah, all right. We always have a couple of guys that downvote, you know. Let the hate flow. 41.6. That's better. That's bad. Max, what the fuck, man? What are you doing? You know what we're gonna do with this money? We're gonna come to find you at Modena, and we're gonna have some good Lambrusco or something like that. Thanks a lot, mate. Jesus. Oh, we have our hater here. So bad and boring. Well, why don't you change channel, you see? It's a free world, mate. I mean, if you stay onto something that you don't like and it bores you, then maybe you should, you know, have a look and prioritize a little bit of stuff in your life. I don't know. Okay, yeah. Ban the guy. He's here. He's a troll. Ban him. All right. Goodbye. Thanks. Ah. No, too much rotation. Too much rotation. All right. So too much rotation. maybe the car is way too stiff now. So what can we do? Let's go one click down everywhere here, like this. All right, let's go down here, and 72 was nice here. What else can we do? I have some issues. I'm having some trouble to make the car go exactly as I want it. It's not exactly neutral, but it was good before that. It had less rotation, and it should be also better for race stream, because when you are racing, rotation is not always so much wanted, because at the end you're gonna consume more your rear tires. In fact, if we go here and see at our tires, you see it's already, with just some laps, it's already more consumed at the rear. So we need to take care of that in the future. And I will show you how we can do that later. Yeah, CC driver, Banhammer. Nice. No, Stalkers, you notice well, I prefer to have the frame rate capped, and I usually do so. I have some issues today because it's been long days, as I was saying at the start of the stream. It's been many days that I haven't rebooted my PC, and there's something in the background that works that keeps on stuttering. So sorry about that. But I was about to reboot the PC before starting the live stream, and I saw that Windows had many updates to do. And usually when it does something like that, it might either break something, or usually it will take half an hour, 40 minutes to update everything. And I was about to start the live stream, so I didn't reboot my PC, and it's still a week or so that I haven't rebooted. So yeah, not telling. If we find a setup preset that it has issues, yes, absolutely, we change it. George, yes, it's always better to trade brake, and this is what we try to do. But you also want your car to behave in a way that you like it. That it also helps you with whatever issues you have in your driving. Because I'm not a perfect driver. Uh, Probably there is not many perfect drivers out there. So what you do is you practice, you practice, you practice, and at some point you understand that the car is doing some things that your driver cannot fix, or you are trying too hard to fix with your driving. So you do some slight changes in the setup to accommodate the problems that you have with your driving. So my driving is that I'm having some issues to trail brake perfectly, at least tonight. So instead of completely changing and trying to improve my driving style, at least for tonight, I could have done so for if I could train for 1 week. I did just a tiny couple of things into the brake bias to make the car behave better for me. And what we're discussing here is what things you can change for you. Why I don't change camber? Because honestly, I don't need to change much the camber. It's already, on the limit. Actually, I would change it to lower the rear end if I can, the rear camber, to make uh, the rear tire wear less heavy for the race. But for now, it works. Uh, no, Fausto, non abbiamo novità per la PlayStation 5. Yeah, probably Gregor's. Yeah. All right, so guys, let me do a decent lap here, because otherwise we're wasting everybody time, and I don't want to waste your time. I want you to see results, and then possibly. Well, we know that the camber is somewhere, the best camber is somewhere around -4, and then depends on the car. If you know, put more negative camber and you gain more grip, then, oh my god, thank you, Ignition. Wow, thank you so much, man. So, thank you, mate. Guys, you guys are crazy. So if you put more camber and you see that you gain more grip, then go for it. If you put more camber and you see that you lost some grip, then you have to, you know, use a little bit less. Usually the aggressive setup, you know, uses the correct camber or close to the correct camber. Camber. Oh, I think I'm using old tires. Dry 5, yeah, it's old tires. Well, who cares? Let's see what we can do. Yeah. Martin, you know, and everybody else, you know, this is quality time for us guys, for me and for you, all right? And I always had the same idea. There are some people that, you know, they just want to hate. This is what they like. Those people are toxic for whatever reason. I cannot judge them, but they cannot judge me either. And since this is for me and for you guys, I prefer to have some guys unhappy with me, but have all the other guys happy with me and be happy myself. Because if you're not happy with yourself, then you cannot make happy the other people. So that's how it works for me. I mean, I respect everybody, but if they don't respect the other people, then, you know, they're simply out of here. No, Kaz, no, it's not at all important to get even tire wear. And actually, not only it's not important, you cannot do it. It's just impossible, you know? So, I mean, you can't do it, but it doesn't make sense because you're losing so much grip that simply doesn't, I mean, it's counterproductive. So you need camber to go faster, and then do whatever is possible you can do to just limit a little bit of tire wear. But and I appreciate you, Martin, for being here, and everybody else for being here late night. Oh, the car is actually pretty nice now. Oh, I like it. I can attack. I can defend. Most importantly, I can drive. Yeah, the tires are starting to lose grip now. Lloyd, yes, you can feel understeer up to a point from the steering wheel, but let's talk about this later on. For sure, we are not doing for Competizione the fake effects that, you know, the whole steering wheel goes completely light and you feel it. Either the suspension gives it to you, or you need to feel it in a different way. And there are different ways to feel the understeer. And we can talk about that in a minute. Whoa! And this is what happens when you are talking and driving in such a difficult turn. Okay, let's put fresh tires. If I have to choose for all tracks, Bentley versus McLaren, probably Bentley because I'm a lazy dev and the Bentley is easier to push for me. But I'm gonna be slower. But yeah, guys, I cannot keep up with you. Let me do this damn lap time and then we can talk about this. Okay, so let's do this lap and then let's answer some questions. All right, guys, what do you say? Yeah, let's answer some questions. So lap, 3 laps, 4 laps. I don't feel that I need to touch the roll bars right now. I think they're pretty good right now. I think the car is good. The roll bars, usually I touch them, once I have a car that reacts as I want it, then I'm going, doing something with the roll bars. Otherwise, there are already, again, the aggressive setup is already into a good point, so I don't want to change it too much. Grazie Fausto. Ah, GP2, sì. Yes, Chris Bizine. Sorry, mate. Yes, it does change the engine power with lower temperatures. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. Not anymore. I'm starting to get tired today. Not so fast. Oof. It's the usual Zardier server conditions, like 10 degrees Celsius, very, very cold. And I'm driving very, very bad. Oh, come on. What are you doing? Yes, Pax Mua could try this, but the problem is the driving right now because I simply shouldn't go into those curbs. You just have to, only touch them, not ride them. But yeah, I could do that. Okay. And nothing. Completely. This is my worst driving tonight. Yeah, track width, yeah. You see, it's all of the driving. I'm just not delivering tonight. I mean, I've missed the apex here. It's the braking zone, everything. Oof. Oh, Staropramen! Haha! You're the man! Thanks, mate. Thanks, SRL. Man, I really miss Prague and Republic of Czech. I really like that city. I want to go back again. Yeah, sure, Fausto, absolutely. There's much more grip on the rubber piece of the track. Thanks, Danny. Bah. Come on. I cannot do it. I cannot do it tonight. Just not. I'm not myself tonight. I cannot do it. I'm just not good enough. I abandon. Okay, let's save this setup. You might like it. So let's say, I don't know, Kyalami, McLaren 720. It's not a bad setup, but okay, 11C. So you can try it. I will put it on the Google Drive. Yeah, the constant times are always that. I mean, I'm always going, for the race pace. All right, so let's talk about, let's answer some questions, some interesting stuff. So, right, one of the important things I think for a race pace. One of the things that you can do with your car, especially with mid-engine cars, the mid-engine cars have more weight at the rear. You use the rear more for rotation. You use it for traction. It has more weight, so it tends to, um, wear the tires sooner. And we saw that here with those tire sets that you can see already that with those tire sets that have more kilometers, the rear is already 0.02 millimeters more worn out than the front. Now, what that means? It means that as you go farther ahead with the race, you're gonna have more oversteer because obviously you're gonna have less grip at the rear. So you wanna try and make this thing happen less in a possible way. So what are the strategies to do this? Well, the first strategy is you can lower a little bit the toe here, okay, if you can. It depends on the setup. And most importantly, you can use less negative camber, something like 3.2, 3.2. It depends on the car. And you can use much more front toe, okay. Now, why is that? Now, again, not always works like this, but more front toe, it's gonna wear out the front end a little bit more. Obviously, you're gonna tell me, but Aris, this way I'm gonna have less grip all around. Yes, but the problem is you need a car that helps you during the whole race. The race is every tire is gonna do one stint, or at some races even two stints. And we did that at Suzuka, and I was able to do two stints with the same tire at Suzuka 12 hours, and it went great because we had a setup made like this. So that means that more toe at the front, worn down the front tires a little bit faster, and less toe at the rear and less camber at the rear, worn the rear tires a little bit less fast, while more at the front a little bit more fast. And the end result was that those numbers were more similar as the tire went farther and farther down. So other things that you can do, dampers can also modify, especially the fast dampers can modify how the tire gets worn out. So usually softer dampers can make the tire have a longer life, a little bit of a longer life. So we can try something like this here, okay, something like this, a little bit softer, fast dampers at the rear, and we can maybe lower a little bit the fast bump here, okay, but raise a little bit the fast rebound so that we control a little bit better when we go over the curbs. So this is something that you can do, and at some conditions you might want to even lower a click the rear right height and have the car even a bit more understeery, okay, but moving forward the race it will become more and more neutral. So let's try this setup for a couple of laps and see. Now, one thing that you might need to know is that if you use less camber, now less camber uh, gives you less grip, and we'll talk about that. But it also makes the tire, the behavior of the tire, less edgy. So with more camber, you have more grip, but at some point the tire just lets go, and you're having that tire slide. With less camber, you have less grip, but when the tire starts sliding, it does so in a much more predictable way. So usually having less camber at the rear might make you the rear end a little bit less controlled, in terms of, a little bit less grippy. So you're going to have more rotation or even more oversteer, but it's going to be easier to control. We're not talking big changes, but usually less camber is easier to control. I don't know about that, Ahmed. I have to look about this. So let's change tire to new ones and have some 5 laps. Okay, 5 laps to see how we're gonna wear down our tires. Okay. Uh, Stefano, it depends. So Stefano asks, open the rear brake duct to have colder rear tires can help. It depends. If your tires are in the correct temperature, then you don't need that. If your tires are overheating, then yes, it will help. If your tires are very cold, then it will make it worse, because also colder tires means less grip, and less grip means more sliding around, and more sliding around means more tire wear. Hi, Celtic. Okay, so let's see what's the situation now. Ooh, maybe too much of rotation, but let's wait for the tires to heat up. Santi, don't worry, mate. Life starts at 40. I'm 47, going to 48, so don't worry. Okay, so I might have a little bit too much rotation, so let's go one click up with brake bias towards the front. Between 70 and 90, not too much. They asked me if there is a difference in tire temperature between 70 and 90. Practically nothing, because you are in the range of optimum tire temp. All right, let's focus and do some proper laps. We're experienced, yeah. And then we become vintage. Little bit too much rotation for me. I don't like it so much, so I will probably go one click down at the rear end. Yeah, too much rotation now. But the lap times are good. Ah. The monitor, you turn off the monitor when you turn on the rear mirror. It really helps with frame rate. Especially when you're streaming. Oh, come on. Ah. Hi, Duki. Let's go down to 90 liters and check the tire wear. Yeah, too much oversteer. Which means I'm gonna have more tire wear at the rear, so I have to lower. One more lap. No, I can't do it. I'm just too tired. But let's see what we've done for now. All right. So where were we? No, this is it. 9. Right. So we bring down the difference to 1 instead of 2. That's something. And in my opinion, if you go down to 1 or 2 clicks here, I will give it to you 1 click here. It will be even better. So let's save this. All right. And let's save it like race. So R, something like this. Save this. I think this is an even better setup for the race. All right. So is the guy still here in the chat? The guy that asked about when to brake. No, you cannot accelerate tire wear. Sorry. Is the guy here that was asking when to start braking when you are in the slipstream with another guy? If he's here, I would gladly show him some extra stuff. So let me switch camera so that I can go into the web like this. Pop, pop, pop. Because I think that's a pretty cool stuff to show. And yeah, we should do that. So let's see if I still have it here. Yes, I think I still have it here. Yep. So let's do this again. I think I have already done it, but it's always good to talk about that stuff, I think. Right, yeah. This is how it is. Pop, 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 pop. Right. So we are here. All right. And let me tell me if you can see this. You should be able to see this here. Let me know, guys, in the chat if you can see what I'm showing to you right now. Jason, I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, I think you cannot see it, maybe. Let's see if when it updates. Yeah, braking when you are in someone's slipstream. So I guess you cannot see this, but if I change it to, yeah, I will change it like that. And now you should be able to see it. So yeah, now it should arrive. So let me check on the live stream if you see this properly. It's always a good thing to reply this, so to tell it again and again, because it's really important and it really changes how you racing. So it's very important. Right. So let's say that you are in a very long straight and you are following a car at about 250 kilometers per hour. Right. So you're, Monza or whatever, 250 kilometers per hour. It's usually a speed that you achieve in a long straight before braking. Okay. So now let's say that you have a gap, and this gap is of 0.2, I mean 2/10 of a second, right? 2/10 of a second. Now let's do some calculation. Now 250 kilometers per hour is 69 meters per second. Okay, 69, easy to remember. I know all you dirty minds over there. So it's 69 meters per second. So every second you cover 69 meters, okay? And you're following someone. Now the gap between you two guys is 13.8, 14 meters, which 14 meters means you are behind the other car by 1, 2, 3 cars. 3 cars distance between you and the guy in front of you. So it's not really that much. It's not really that much. You're pretty close, okay? So this all happens when you are at 250 kilometers per hour and you are away from the car 4 cars. 4 cars is not much, but you're not even, close to the car. You're not even close to the car. You're not right behind his bumper. You are 3 cars behind him. And by 3 cars, I mean, from the front bumper of the car to the front bumper of you. So this is 2/10 of a second. Okay, that is the situation. So remind again, 250 kilometers per hour. You are traveling by 69 meters every second, which means that for 0.2 seconds gap, 2/10 of a second, the front bumper from your front bumper is away, 3 to 4 cars, 14 meters. Okay, now let's change page. Now, what happens is that you arrive at the braking zone, okay, to do the first turn, all right? So you do this, okay, and how do you maintain your 2/10 of a second gap? To maintain your 2/10 of a second gap, it means that you have to, do everything as fast as usual. So the front guy will do his turn at the same, he would start the braking at the same braking zone, and you will start your braking at the same braking zone, at the same brake reference, okay? Because in that way, if you do everything properly and you do the same lap times, you're still gonna have 2/10 of a second gap between you. Now, here's the situation. Thank you, Mickey Peps. Thank you so much, mate. Second time. Thank you so much, mate. Really, thank you. So this is very important. You need to stay 2/10 of a second close to the guy in front of you. So you're doing everything as you're doing at every other lap. All right? So here's what happens. Now, second lap. Okay? So you are going to break down to make the first turn to, let's say, 80 kilometers per hour. 80 kilometers per hour, usually, it's a normal turn speed for a slow turn. So 80 kilometers per hour means that you are going to travel now by 22 meters per second. So every second you cover 22 meters. Okay? Which means that if you want to maintain still your 2/10 gap, or even close it, okay? If you are maintaining your 2/10 of a second of a gap, it means that from the front of the front car to the front of your car, the distance now is 4.4 meters. Now the Ferrari and pretty much all the other cars are over 4.5 meters length. 4.6, 5 meters, the Bentley is 5 meter long. Which means that if you brake at your normal reference point, okay, you are going to hit him. There's no other way around it. So if he brakes at his reference point and you brake at your reference point, you are going to hit him. It's physics. There is no other way. Oh, I'm gonna brake sooner. I'm gonna brake harder. You cannot. You are both at the limit of your braking, and we also have ABS, so everybody is limited by that. So you are braking really, really exactly at your reference point. You are not doing anything wrong. You are doing what you did on all your laps, and you are going to hit the car in front of you. You're going to hit it because you are not any longer, doing 14 meters every second, but you are doing 22 meters. Sorry, you're not doing 69 meters every second, but you're doing 22 meters every second. And to maintain your 2-second gap, you are just too close. So that is if you are away, okay, by 14 meters. Now imagine what happens if instead of being here, all right, your car this time, which is this one, okay. So imagine that your car instead is right here, okay. So if you're right here, you have slipstream, you have less downforce, you're so close. I mean, if you wait for his brake lights to light and then brake yourself, the accident is 200% definite and sure. You cannot avoid it. You cannot avoid it. So you really, really have to brake much, much sooner before your braking reference point and before his lights go light up. Before his braking lights light up, you really have to brake. This is racing. If you want to race, you have to brake sooner. That's why we brake sooner. We study where he brakes to understand what we can do. And at some point, you are at this point, and you decide to brake at your reference point, but you do so going into the inside if possible, so that you can overtake him. Okay, because if you do it normally, then you're gonna hit him. There is no other way around. You cannot better brake. I mean, if alone you are braking at your reference point that you know it is perfect, there is no way to brake better than that. It's impossible. You're gonna go later. Your braking reference points are for the perfect lap when you are alone. Okay, in racing you have to brake sooner if you have a car in front of you. There is no way that you can brake in a shorter distance. There's no way, because your tires have a limited grip, your downforce is limited, your braking force is limited. So there's no other way around it. Thanks, Takumi. uh, Paxmu, that might be an idea, but it's not always correct. So if you are too close to the car in front, you are going to get even closer because the speed, as I explained before, goes down. So you have to brake even sooner. The closer you are, the sooner you have to brake. Right? The sooner you have to brake. Yeah, you need. This is all about. I mean, this is racing. You really need to understand this and try it. I mean, don't just look at that. Go with the AI. Okay, put it into something low level like 90, 92, whatever. Okay, and try it. Go behind. I mean, put just one opponent of AI. We have AI. You can use it not only for racing, but you can use it also for training. So put just one opponent, go behind him, and start trying to stay close to him without hitting him. So you will see that you need to brake much, much sooner every time. Much sooner every time. Vicky Pepsi, calm down, mate. Don't give me all your money. Come on, mate. Thank you so much. Milk in the water in the morning. Definitely milk, and then maybe coffee. But usually I drink coffee midday after lunch. Yeah, Monza. I mean, get one AI. Do this. I mean, guys, really, let's try this. No, not really, Ahmed. The whole turbulence does affect your car, but not exhaust heat, not exhaust heat. No. So let's just try this. Okay. So let's. I mean, it's easy. Let's go to Monza. I mean, let's stay here that we have already practiced. Go into a quick race, whatever. We don't care. Just one account. Put it something low like 92. All right. Uh, exactly, Voodoo Child. They say all the time. They say this. I braked at my user reference. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You have to brake sooner than that. Clear AZ. That's a good thing. Lift and brake somewhere about normal braking point, but at least you are arriving slower. That's a good thing. But practice it. Well, here's what's going to happen. I will show you Vincetta. Vincetta says, I know that you need to brake before if you're close to their car, but why can I usually still keep up with the car if I'm always braking sooner? Because the speed goes, you're going slower. Actually, your time distance into the turn becomes wider, but because you're slower, your distance, your space distance, is smaller. Okay, because time and distances are not the same thing. No, totally no, not for now. So we have made here this kind of quick race, very easy. So let's go in, and here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna follow the other car and see if we can brake at the same point. Thank you, Payusi Gandhi. I don't know how to pronounce your name. So thank you so much, mate. I'm really, but sorry that I don't know how to pronounce your name. Okay, so let's load our setup here. Load. Probably too much weight for 20 minutes. So let's have the same weight as the car in front of us, something like this, and let's do it. So
Stay in double file.
all right. Yeah, NASCAR was great, but obviously, in NASCAR racing it was also very important because you follow so much closer, so much closer. All right, so let's follow this car if we can. Well, we should be able. At 90% of level, I should be able to find him and follow him. Well, keep in mind that obviously when you follow, you have turbulence and less density of air. That does affect cooling, tires, brakes, and so on. All right, so now we are very close. So let's try to brake a little bit sooner and see if we can follow the car. You see? You can always, release the brakes and go back to him again. Now I will go very close again, and at least I will try. and I will try to brake at my usual braking zone. And you see already I'm all over around him because I went really close to him. So let me try again now.
Fastest lap so far.
And boom,
Got
got
some
him.
light damage on the front of the car.
There's no way to avoid him. I mean, I was braking 100%, straight line, no way to avoid him. So you really have to brake sooner. Practice it. Sometimes you need to brake much sooner, sometimes just a little bit. And if you see the car in front of you going away in the braking zone, release the brakes a little bit and go closer. Now this is something that every time I listen to the commentators in real races saying that, oh, now we have the elastic again, and you can see the car behind the driver is so much better at braking, but then in the acceleration, the car in front has much power and he's going away. And this is so much bullshit. I mean, they don't understand a thing. That's why sim racers understand so much more from real racing, you know.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Ooh, you see, I had to brake so much before. Because they don't understand this concept. And they think that the car behind gets closer because it brakes later. No, it actually brakes sooner. But it gets closer because the speed is less. Okay, now, look at that.
Fastest lap of the race. Great job, man.
Let's move here.
Car
So
on the
I
right.
will,
Clear
okay.
on the right.
You see, I modulated the brake to go closer to him. So let's see this into a replay so I can explain you. So look at this in the replay. Like that. Let's stop a little bit. We need also the HUD here. And we need to go slower like this. Now, you will notice that I started braking sooner. And then you will notice here on the pedals that I saw the car moving forward, the opponent, and I modulate a little bit the brake to get closer to him. All that happened really fast. This is what you achieve when you have some practice, but you need to practice it a lot to be able to do so. So here it is. Look at this. Let's go outside like that. Okay, so you will see that I'm going into the side so that I have some space, and I'm starting to brake sooner. Okay, so I brake here already. He's going away. I modulate. You can see my, let's go back a little bit here and leave it so that you can see now what's the brake pedal. Okay, what's the brake pedal? Exactly. So we are arriving now at the braking zone. Usually I'm braking after, a little bit after the rubbered line start and just before the 100 meter, but you will see that now I'm braking before the braking line. Now I'm braking already, and now I am modulating. You see, I release the brakes to get closer to him, and then I brake again. And now we are moving at the same rate together. Okay? So this is how you do it. This is how you stay close to the other car. Always start braking sooner to be safe, and then modulate if you need to. Besides, the most important thing is having a better exit than him, so you need some fresh air to accelerate at the exit, okay? So that you can get the slipstream and overtake him at the straight line. Because I see also many people doing this. So I will show you. I see many people doing the following. Let me go closer. So they are trying to brake. Whoops. Takumi. Okay, let me go closer to him. Let me catch him now. If I can. It's okay, he's not so fast now. I will catch him. And I want to show you another error that many drivers do. I also do it, I mean everybody, but at least you have to be, to know what you're doing so that you can improve or find a way to take advantage. Okay, let's get closer to him. Okay, now we are quite close. So you have many drivers that they are so close to the opponent. They are trying with the braking to get as close as possible, like this. So braking late. Now I'm so close to him and I cannot even accelerate because I have to wait for him to accelerate. Oops, sorry, my bad. So the problem here is that if I'm following the opponent way too close at the apex, okay, and then I cannot accelerate, I have to wait for him. Then when he accelerates first, it means that he's going to go away from me. So let's see if we can do this again. Let me get close to him once more. Getting closer. Okay, so from the next turn, we're gonna do this demonstration. Try to get as close as possible. You see that I start braking a little bit sooner. So now I have to wait for him to accelerate. Look at that. I have to wait for him. I cannot accelerate. And now he accelerates and he's going away from me. And he's at 90% speed, so he's not even that fast, but he's going away from me now. Okay, so let me go close to him again. So people are, driving like this, and now he's away again. And I cannot get him on the next straightaway. See, I have to wait for him, and so he's going away from me. So what I have to do is I need some space, okay, so that I can accelerate sooner than him. I need some space here and a better line, so possibly I can accelerate better than him, get his slipstream, and possibly, overtake him at the next turn. Easy to say, difficult to do, but at least if you know the theory like that now, you can do it. And it works like this. And hello, safety rating. See, now I have to wait for him, and he's going away. But if I give him some space, and I can accelerate better than him like this, now I'm under the slipstream and I can try the overtaking maneuver. So that's the important thing. Now if you are in such situation, brake as late as possible. Now you can do it and you can overtake him. You can do the dev bomb. Alright, so I hope this was clear for you. Again, I remind you, it's all about speed distance, and time. Okay, that's all about it. I hope that's clear for you. If you guys have any questions about it, let me know. All right. Okay, so what else can we do tonight? I think, yeah, it's midnight. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll gladly answer them, and then we can see. Or if you don't have any questions, we can go to bed. Yeah, I mean, again, I remind you, and did you know that you can go to the options, I think general options, and you can have, I think it's on general options. Actually, no. Maybe it's in assists. No, it's not here. It has to be here. Online stats. Yeah, multiplayer only. So you can go here. Okay, so let's do this properly. So we can have um, a did you know session. Um, so as I said, you can't train with the AI to help you understand how to brake, to overtake, to stay close, or to get your distance from the car in front of you. And you can do it easily because did you know that you can go on the options here, general, online stats. If you put this into multiplayer only, then you are not, losing any safety ratings while you are training with the AI. Or a friend comes into your house and wants to play with the Assetto Corsa Competizione, and you are afraid that it's going to ruin your ratings. You go here, online stats, you put it into multiplayer only, and you can train with the AI or let your friend ruin all the cars into against the AI, and you're not losing any safety ratings or any kind other kind of ratings at all. That works only into multiplayer sessions. So that's a handy situation. Sometimes you want instead to train with the AI and gain some safety ratings, so you put it back into on here, and again it works also in single player offline races as well. So this is it. Right. Nice. No, it's not failed. You didn't hurt me. I said it doesn't work for, if you put it on multiplayer, it doesn't work for the offline. So you can do whatever training you want. It works only on multiplayer. All right. So what's next? Yeah. Did a completely mistake of everything? Rating multiplayer only. Yeah, we should do it again. So yeah, scratch that. So it's rating multiplayer only. It seems that I'm so much tired. uh, I don't know if you're gonna do if it's gonna be able for the console. Don't know about that. Yeah, it's separated totally. Right. Vicky Pepsi, what are you doing, mate? Honestly, thank you. We cannot do that for the moment. You have to have your own dedicated server. That's the only way to do it, and passworded server. Oh yeah, I like Bathurst a lot. Especially at some points when the sun goes down or comes up. It's unbelievably beautiful to rate. No, when it rains, you get the wet setup. We have the wet preset, so you choose that, and it chooses itself alone. Yeah. For a beginner, it's much better to go with front engine cars, like the Aston Martin. Of course, is one of the easiest cars to start with. It's not so fast, so don't. I mean, it is fast, but it takes lots of effort in terms of precision and uh, technique. Uh, but if you are not yet experienced, it's gonna be relatively slow against other cars, but much easier to drive. Another car that's also very nice to drive is the Bentley, but it's a little bit too long. But it is very stable, very easy to drive, right-hand drive, so that might be a problem for you. Another very nice car is the Nissan, also very nice car to drive. Uh, and Other cars that are nice. The Mercedes starts to be a little bit more tricky to drive. The Lexus can be a little bit more tricky. The BMW can also get tricky at some situations. Now, if we move into the mid-engine cars, I would suggest going with the Ferrari, which obviously is more trickier to drive, but for a mid-engine car is more benevolent, let's say, a little bit easier to drive. The Honda is not so bad, but it's a little bit on the understeery side. And then everything else comes afterwards. So this is what I suggest. A Bathurst 720 setup. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know what you think. I mean, our first feedback is I think it hasn't been better since ever. So I don't know what to tell you. PS4 version, full handling physics model, absolutely yes, the same, identical. As we said many times, the force feedback refresh rate might be lower, and of course frame rate lower and opponents lower. So that are the changes, but the physics, as far as I know, is identical. Yeah, all the mid-engine cars. I mean, all the cars here are race high downforce cars, and when you are really pushing them, at some point, as Tortellini says, everything is gonna snap. So, Mickey Pepsi, I don't know about that. I don't know if it's gonna be any updates between one and another. Probably yes. Uh, because Porsche is the logo, they ask to put the actual letters. I don't know Paxmo. I don't know. Uh, my favorite library. Oh God, I should go and have a look. Honestly, the Bentley have some amazing libraries here. I mean, some of them are. I mean, come on, look at that. And this is amazing. Others. Some Audis, I think, were pretty impressive. Oh, I don't know. This is from the SRO Esports, I think. I think there was a nice Honda. No, not this one. That is not bad at all, and that is also very nice. Banana. Hold on, this is actually a B. B. Blah 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 blah. The light blue 720 is also beautiful. Yeah, true. Se si mette a piovere, ti arrangi, non c'è molto da fare. Uh, yeah, the Mercedes is, torque. I mean, the car normally should have the same engine as the Aston Martin because the Aston Martin uses the Mercedes V8 biturbo engine. Uh, but they decided and they took permission to use the old normal aspirated V8 from the SLS GT3 old car, which is 6.8 liters. So it's like bleh, it's like that. That's a car I would like to train with for the one of the next races if I'm going anywhere. I mean, I like the Mercedes and I haven't used it for a long time, so maybe I should try it. Uh, Black M6. We don't have that. We don't have a black M6. I think this one was this one. Maybe I don't know. Very nice. The Lambo Evo, though, yeah, it has tons of ballast, but we've talked with the guys, and it should be better now, and also much better under braking. So you should try it again. I think. Tofini, I don't know, non lo so, può essere, penso di sì, ma non lo so di preciso perché non so alla fine quante ottimizzazioni sono riusciti a fare. Uh, what else? The Castrol V8. I think we have this. No, probably not. No, we don't have this. No, we don't have this. Blue. Nope. Hmm. Right. So what do we have here? No worries, Pixe. I'm enjoying the Vodafone Mercedes. Yeah, that's right. Vodafone Mercedes. We should use that. Uh, that's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. I don't know about that, Mickey Pepsi. I don't know about that. Nice stuff here. Yeah, this one also is very nice. Look at that. I don't know what to tell you. Well, I'm also trying to improve my Italian. Tortellini, we also changed a little bit how actually the suspension is. You know how you have the arms of the suspension. They were pointing a little bit too downwards. So we found out with the team that usually they are more level, and that changes the height of the center of roll center. Sorry, roll center, which also changes how the car behaves, how it rolls, and if it's more stable or less stable. So now it's more stable when it's going turning in. We do not develop the FF. We develop the physics. The physics then give to the steering wheel the proper values. Again, I'm telling you, as many times, those tires have very small, very narrow slip angles. So if you're gonna feel something for the FF, you're gonna feel it like that. So you are, let's say that for a given turn, you're like this. This is the peak of the tire, right? You are at the maximum grip. Now you're gonna feel changes if you go from here to here, from here to here. This is where you're gonna feel changes. If you do this, you won't feel anything. It's gonna be flatness. That many people have this problem that they are turning and they're like completely flat. Oh, I don't feel anything. This is usually the problem. Now, if you're telling me that I don't feel anything at all, then you probably have some problem with your drivers or with the installation or something like this. Honestly, I don't know what to tell you, but everybody else is like raving, so certainly there's something on your side. Uh, Well, it's an old car. Only the Rater car, the Rex only participated at Monza because they gave it less weight and a big engine, so it had a lot of straight line speed. But in the turns, it's problematic. Let's say for against the modern cars. What do I have? I don't know. Yeah, Tom. I would like to start some races. So tonight I had to drive the McLaren because I have promised to the people to try it. But from next week I would like to see if I can do a couple of races and 1 week race, 1 week theory and stuff like that. If I like WRC, not particularly lately with those modern cars. They are like magic. Their dumping systems are unbelievably efficient. I mean, I look at them, I'm like, wow. But then that's it. I mean, they are, and honestly, I believe they are way, way too dangerous, much more than the Group B era. They are doing some incredibly high speeds in turns, and it's like, wow. Uh, yes, yes, I did, Jason. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Jason, indeed, Jason says the Bathurst 12 hours this year had so many crashes and so much wind and so much hot track temperatures. It was indeed very, very hard. Ah, right. Well, you can try. I don't know what they are for. I don't know about that, for you. My settings are very, very straightforward. This is my settings. It's all. Now I use 100% gain, and you shouldn't. Uh, let's not go into that again. I'm using this for development purposes. I have talked about this in other videos, so just have a search on the FFB settings. Usually, for a good direct drive wheel, you should use something like 3040 and crank up the power on the direct drive. But for development uh, reasons, I have to use 100% and move down the wheel. Yes, Max Daniel. How wet tires work? Recently had a thunderstorm. How we had a puncture. Well, how wet tires work? Well, first of all, as you know, we are simulating a film of water, depending on what depth that film of water has on the surface of the tarmac. and depending on the tire design, um, you can either drain the water out of of the surface of the asphalt and have the tire touching the asphalt and obviously making grip, or it doesn't make it doesn't have enough possibility to drain the tire, and at that point you get aquaplaning. um, Now, as you know, the lower the tire pressure, the more the tire moves around into the rim. And if you go outside, the asphalt and you join in parallelly, or you go over the curbs, then it moves way too much and loses some tire, loses some pressure. It's just this is the rim, this is the tire, like that, and it moves too much, and at some point does like tag it exits some pressure. So the less pressure you have, the more this happens, and at some point you get tire puncture. This is one of the reasons, and obviously happens when it rains a lot, because usually when it rains a lot, many people have the problem that the temperatures are way too cold and the pressures go way too low, and when that happens, I mean, even Gergo, even the spotter tells you that your tire pressures are getting lower and lower, and you have to be careful. So sometimes it's even better to go into the pits and change tires and raise the tire pressures, because you're gonna have big issues. Tire pressures, ideal tire pressures for the wet tires are 30 psi. Uh, Anything lower than 27 starts to have problems with pressure loss. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is that if you're doing spins, and while spinning you are locking your wheels because you are braking, trying to save the spin, the wet tires are very soft on the surface, and that provokes big flat spots. And then every time you're braking, if you're using too low ABS, you are locking again on the flat spot 1, 2, 3, 10 times, and you are at the end you are provoking a puncture because you provoked a hole. You created a hole into the surface of the tire. So that's why this happens. Uh, or I don't know, Mike Zor. This depends on how Zordier made the surface. So it also could be that the truck was slower, because usually when the weather changes, okay, to change the weather, you need wind. Usually, when the weather changes, the wind goes stronger. Okay, so you might had more wind, and that made your car slower. Usually, that happens most of the times when you are going from one situation of weather into a different situation. It means that you need to, the weather brings the clouds and everything, and the wind grows stronger, and that can make the car slower. Proper shifting. Proper shifting on the 488 is just before the over rev, over whatever sign on the dash. I think it's the first red LED, something like that. Mickey Pepsi, hopefully at some point, maybe you can do that. Yeah, that's a good thing to have. Thank you, Razid. I mean, we are going to close it too. No, it's not. It's not a different. The problem with brand cuts is that you guys use too much cutting over the curbs because you want to do the lap time. Okay, but to do the lap time properly, you need to cut way too much over the curbs. Well, guess what? You pay for that somehow. So it's not that, oh, that track we need to have a a value that we tweak, and you get more punctures. No, it's the same everywhere. But if you're going way too much on those very fast turns over the curbs or inside, you cut into the inside. At that point, you go under the curb, you go into the grass, and there you hit again with your tire over the asphalt to go back into the curb, to go back into the road, and that takes off some puncture. Similar things happen also into Zandvoort. So it's you take your risks, you gain some lap time, and you might lose the race. That's it. There is a reason why in real life you don't see cars being so aggressive over curbs or going outside the road. Tortellini, I don't know about that. Yeah, there should be raid drops first, but I don't know what to tell you about that. Yeah. No, no, it doesn't. Shiny Volpix doesn't increase puncture. No. I don't think so, Quand. I don't think that the technology we have permits us to do this thing. Another thing that helps with rain is usually you have to raise your setup ride height by 2 to 4 millimeters, and that brings the same balance as you had in dry. All right, guys. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I hope you enjoyed. I apologize. I'm not so much into my best situation. I'm a little bit tired, but I had fun. I hope you had some fun too. I hope we had some interesting points uh, into tonight's live stream. And what can I say? See you next week, right? Let's try to do some race maybe next week. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you again for everything. Thank you for your support. Thank you for making the channel grow and grow. We are almost close to 11,000 people. So thank you again.